It's part 2, End Time Watchman. Okay. When the towers fell, when the people lost their lives, okay, on 911, I can remember exactly where I was at when I was in Albany, Georgia, working for a very rich man, doing a big house for him. And I can remember when they fell. I can remember that I'd already had several weapons and pretty good bit of ammunition, but I can remember on September the 12th I started buying because I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt. I didn't understand it all, but I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that America's life was fixing to change forever. And what I mean by that, when I mean America, I should have said that the lives of the American people were going to be changed forever. I had no doubt in my mind that they would be instituting restrictions and laws that would eventually come back to haunt us, and that's what they're doing today. They're coming back to haunt us. Very seldom do you anymore hear about an Al-Qaeda terrorist or Bin Laden anymore. But they pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it for years. Don't get me wrong, there's terrorists all over, okay? There are people over there that want to kill Americans. I understand that. But make no mistake about it. My belief is that part of the requirements for these elite to rule the world for a short period of time is they have to sacrifice the blood of human beings unto Lucifer. Now you're going to think that's way out there. That's fine. Go ahead, think what you want to think. I really don't care because I know what I'm talking about. They did a ritual sacrifice of thousands of Americans on 9/11. But I got news for you. That ain't nothing to what's coming in the not so distant future. There is going to be a blood sacrifice of millions in the not so distant future. Am I afraid of it? No, not at all. Am I concerned for my fellow man? That's why I'm making the video today. Because I have a great, great concern that a lot of people are still asleep that need to wake up. But they won't because they still... Do you know how many people, unless it comes through that television, that one-eyed devil, and unless some big-chested gal that looks good tells it to them, they're not going to believe it. There are so many people out there that don't believe in the alternative media. They don't believe that there's anything other. They believe that what comes through that television is God. That is thus saith God is what they believe. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. And I wasn't wanting to get on that, but I guess what I'm trying to really get to is this. The window of opportunity of waking up is nearly about closed. And when they get ready, which is not far off, here in Time Watchman, please hear me. When they get ready this summer to begin to implement what they want to implement, it's going to be coming like a freight train. It's going to be one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. There will be a tipping point. And people begin to respond back. Okay, let me specifically talk to some men right now for a minute. And ladies want to listen, you want to watch it, that's fine. If you don't, turn the dial off, that's fine. Okay, and you know who I'm talking to. You men know who I'm talking to. Make sure that you're prepared. Make sure that you're ready. Make sure that you know what you got to do. And make sure, for the safety of your families, that you're willing to engage with overwhelming force. Whatever evil comes at you, make sure you're willing to deal with it accordingly. I mean, I'm talking about, listen to me. Let me use this analogy, men. I use a lot of cordless nail guns as a contractor. I've got those that hook to the hose. but I use a lot of cordless ones. They work off CO2. Trim guns, pass load, framing guns. Okay, when I push that plunger and I pull that trigger, there's a setting on that plunger that lets that nail go flush, even with the wood, or it can even countersink it up to a quarter. But it's just according to what I want to set it to, according to the wood. If it's heart pine, I'll set it on a deeper thing to get it to sink. If it's poplar, I'll set it on medium, and it'll go just enough that you can put your putty in if you're going to paint, whatever. Listen to me, guys, for a minute. In your preparations, okay, make sure that the preparations you have in food and weapons and things of this nature, that plunger is set where it'll when you have to engage, make sure that it is overwhelmingly a victorious engagement that makes you wind up on top. Okay? Make sure of that. Now, I'm not trying to be your boss, your king, or your leader. Man, I'm trying to encourage you and let you know that it is very important. And I'll tell you what drives me. What drives me is when I look into the eyes of my children and my wife, or my friend across that lake and his wife, and I look at them and I know that they've done nothing to deserve what's going to come at them. I'm not just going to sit back and let it come at them. And I know you won't neither, men. In your area, in your district, in your place where you live. I know you won't. But I'm encouraging you now to make 100% sure you're calling an election and where you stand and what's coming in the months ahead. That you'll be ready. And that you won't have a second thought about it. When you do, I apologize. When you do have to come, sorry about the phone there, and present your force back to protect yourself, your family, and your friends. I'm going to do a part 3. I got to answer this phone. I'll be right back.